the United States versus England, 0-0. Ooh, it felt like for most of the game, England was under siege. And we saw in the second half what experience can do, right? England pull out Jude Bellingham, bring in Jordan Henderson, and a little bit more order is restored. And Henderson has just been around. I mean, he's been around. He's played big games. He knows how to bring control back to the midfield. That was very interesting to see. But once again, if you are a US fan, man, like, what a performance, what a team. Now the question becomes, can you take this into that Iran game? A bit of a problem with this, I'll tell you, is everyone said, oh, they can't wait to play against Iran. Iran are a much better team than they showed for it against England. They just got hit by an early sucker punch that they were unable to recover from. Well, case in point, they showed that against Wales today. So we can't underestimate Iran. Nobody can think that we've already, like, you're already past this. You really have to be looking forward. But if you are a US fan and you are honest with yourself, with this young team, right? This young team that will be good at the next World Cup, with this young team, if you were given a draw against Wales, so tie against Wales, tie against England, going into an Iran game, you would probably take that, right? Quite honestly, you would probably take that. Now, with these last two performances, you might say, oh man, like, we feel hard done by, we feel like we should have gotten more out of this. I completely understand. So I'm bullish for the United States going into that last game, but what I do want us to do is, I want you as fans, as US fans, to not take the Iran game for granted, because they will come to play too. Everything is open in this. Nothing gets sorted until the very last day of this championship, and so it's going to until the very last day of the group stages, and so lots and lots and lots to play for. Key men. Oh man, I had a few friends from Malawi talk about those two young men in the midfield, in Tyler Adams and Musa. Brilliant. Can you imagine holding that midfield with a two, making Rice and Bellingham essentially non-existent? I thought that was absolutely excellent. So kudos to those two guys in the midfield. Very, very good game by Christian Pulisic. So showing signs of what we all know that he can do. Technically looked very good. The US did everything but score. I also like that back line. I like Ream at the back. I've seen him a lot with Fulham, and I love him as a defender. Poised, can get into the challenges, competed really well against Hurricane. Just really, really good, and competed well and defended well against those little runs Hurricane makes when he comes deep, and then you leave gaps in behind you. Like, those were nowhere to be seen today. English substitutions, fascinating to me. I felt like Phil Foden should have at least come into the game at a certain point. I felt like pulling out Saka was a little weird to me, even though the game needed Rashford. What's interesting, though, is the game needed Rashford at the time when the United States were pushing back England. Because what you want is a guy who can stretch his legs and make that one run that can be absolutely decisive. But what happened was, once you got Jordan Henderson in there, and then England had their control back, now you didn't have that space behind that US, right? So these are cat and mouse things that we always have to be thinking about. When you're making the changes, at what time are you making the change, and what personnel are you bringing in? So let me see who else. Jack Grealish, okay. He's not a goal threat, so that's a bit of a problem for me. He's the type of guy that needs a certain type of game. He needs the conditions to be right in order for him to perform, and so he was okay. I would have loved to see Phil Foden come in ahead of him, just so because Phil is made out of steel, right? He can take initiative in games. He's got the knack to really turn the game on its head, and wanted to see that. Jude Bellingham, right? A lot of English fans have said a lot about Jude Bellingham. So let me ask you this question. Please leave your comment below. Is Jude Bellingham worth 200 million pounds, as people have said? Or has he been cut down to size today? Size being around 25 million pounds. Is Jude Bellingham worth 200 million pounds, as a lot of fans have said, or has he been cut down to size? Maguire was brilliant. Maguire was brilliant. A lot of English fans didn't want Maguire to play. If Maguire didn't play in that game today, I promise you England loses. Because who could make those types of challenges that Maguire was making in the air, etc., etc. He was immense. On the other side too, on the United States, in Matt Turner, what a keeper. What confidence to make the types of stops that he made. What confidence on his ball. We've finally seen him. I've seen him play a few times for Arsenal in the Europa League. And we've now finally seen him in his natural habitat. I thought he was very, very good today. Who else? Trippier, okay. John Stones, okay. Luke Shaw, like I said, I would have loved to see him combine on that left with Raheem Sterling providing more width, but we didn't get to see that. That's just kind of weird. Like, that is Raheem Sterling's strength. We've seen it. We've seen him do that at Manchester City. We've seen him not work when he's playing a little bit more inside for Chelsea. Why wouldn't you go to one of your most dangerous players' strengths? I don't really understand that. But then, I also don't really understand Gareth Southgate. I just resigned to say he is one of the best managers in the history of England. Take it or leave it. The stats are there to prove it. He is one of the best managers in English history. So I stopped questioning his decision making. I let him let him do what he does. But there's just a lot of things that I don't quite fully understand. Where else do we want to go? I'm gonna be doing a lot of analysis for all the games that have been played so far, and really sitting and working through them. That Brazil game, the Senegal game against Qatar today, Wales versus Iran, and so on and so forth. But leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me, what did you think about the game today, US versus the United States of America, and what do you think are the chances of these two teams as they go forward? All right, for now, I've been your man at Qatar World Cup 2022, and I will speak to you soon. Ciao.